got this 2008 Buick Lucerne in. It's a crank no start. It's got the 3800 Series 3 V6 in it. And yeah, I'm gonna get it up in the air. We're gonna just give it a look over and see what's going on with it. All right, well, we got this thing up in the air. Immediately I noticed that we got a bunch of coolant leaking all over the place. Now, I did just go pick this thing up to tow it here, and when I initially looked underneath of it to go diagnose it quickly to see if I could find anything wrong, it was dry underneath. There was no leaks, nothing like that. Did a scan, had 2 fault codes, but just for the air suspension system, and nothing that was an immediate red flag. Checked the oil, it looked good, and then about 2 hours later I returned with the truck. We hooked up to it and there was a huge puddle of coolant underneath. So that's a red flag right there. Get it up in the air. We do notice, like I said, we got coolant leaking all over the side of the engine. I don't know if it's the water pump housing. The water pump that's on it looks like it's been replaced before, like it's pretty clean. Now there's like a sub housing that the pump actually bolts to, so maybe it's a gasket, maybe it's that. The side of the engine block's pretty rusty. I do notice that the compressor has also been leaking, so a bunch of dye there. That's no good. And then we've got engine oil that's been slowly leaking as well. And that's a common thing with these things. They leak oil and it leaks right onto the starter, and it fills the inside of the starter up full of oil and usually eats starters. So that's not good either. This thing's just super rotten. So I'm gonna lower it down. We're gonna take a look from above to see if I can sort of pinpoint where this coolant leak's coming from. We might even pressure test it. So let's do that. All right, so we can see we've got a bunch of wetness up here. It's a mix of like leaking oil over time, but also I believe coolant as well. These things are bad for intake gaskets going bad. They're pretty common. And then it usually fills the valley up full of oil or coolant or both. And then it just pukes out over the side. Definitely been leaking oil out on this side, but it's been like slow, you know what I mean? So it doesn't look fresh, but that's where that's coming from. Now I might just stick my video scope down in here if I can. I don't know if this is completely sealed or if I have some sort of access to get in there. There's a coolant elbow right here, this piece of plastic. Sometimes they're bad for going, but I think I might actually just fill it up full of water and pressure test it and just look to see where it's coming from, because it's just all over the place. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fill it up. All right, filling this thing up full of water, and then I'm gonna pressure test it. One thing I did notice when I did my visual inspection when I first showed up to look at the car was this coil pack's busted. It's cracked. These things are a pretty common issue for 2 concerns. Obviously, misfire runs rough, but it will also cause the symptom where when you start the car, it will start up, but then it like won't idle nice. It'll just like fall on its face and like pretty much stall or almost stall. And I had a Grand Prix that was doing that, and it was these coils. So I replaced the coils and now it starts up and goes right to idle perfectly. So if you have that issue, take a look at that. Look at this kind of greenness inside of there. It's like kind of sludgy and gross, but the more that I look at this cooling system, the worse it gets. So what else was I going to tell you? Oh yeah, my initial thoughts were that it was probably a fuel issue. It just seemed like a fuel issue. It would crank over, wouldn't even try to start, wouldn't even hiccup. So I'm gonna see where this leak's coming from. Then after that, I think what I'm gonna do is just take that fuel line off, crank it over into a barrel or something like that, or a container, and see if I'm even getting fuel. So, all right, there's our leak. It's down in there. Give it a pump.
that plastic piece or is that the head gasket?
It might be. No. It'll be usually intake gaskets. So it's coming back further. You know what? It's totally possible. That's the intake. I want to say, you just can't see. There's too much stuff in the way.
Explain.
All right, so it is coming out of that plastic tube. It does an elbow this way and then in. And the O-rings are definitely either shot or the tube itself is cracked. One or the other. But that's where it's coming from, so that sucks. Still shouldn't give us a no start though. So I'm gonna take this line off. Let's see what we got for fuel pressure. Okay, we're gonna remove this fuel line now. I got some rags over that. Got my little disconnect tool. I'm gonna push in on the line, install the disconnect tool, push out on the line. Hopefully. Okay. Now, I'm gonna stick this little thing right here. I might actually just put something over that so it quits leaking. Bam. Okay. I'm gonna stick this line in here. And we're going to just crank the car over for a second and see if we got fuel coming out.
It's going. Pulling up fuel.
So the pump primed. Shit. All right, I just pulled the air filter up. I just wanted to see and make sure, rule that out, that it wasn't like completely blocked or something like that. So it looks very clean, like it's been replaced not that long ago. And I'm just gonna clean all this crap out so that the seal can actually seal. All right, we pulled a plug out and a wire. So I just have it hooked up to ground. I'm just gonna crank it over and see if we even have spark. So let's give it a shot. All right, so it seems like we got no spark. I'm just gonna double check that my ground is okay, simply by checking the voltage through that wire and on here, which it is 12.9. Looks good to me. All right, so now I knew this was cracked, but so these are the coils, these three things here with the numbers on them, but underneath of that is actually the ignition control module, and there's a board underneath of there. And they have a tendency to go bad. So now I'm gonna pull the coils off and take a look at that and see if there's any sort of testing that I can do, check power, check ground, make sure that the board's being fed. But yeah, I haven't replaced one on one of these before, but I just from reading and seeing all kinds of stuff, it seems like they're pretty common to go bad. Phone can't even focus. Focus. All right, I'm gonna take all these off now. And,
what size is that?
It's a 5.5 millimeter, which is interesting, but GM loves to use 5.5. So I'm gonna unbolt these coils, and I believe the mounting bolts for the actual module underneath is underneath of these coils. So yep, just remember where your wires go to. Mark them if you have to. Write them down, take a picture of them, because you don't want to put them back together wrong, or it definitely won't start. Maybe it's an 8. No, it's pretty rusty. It's a 7. All right, we're unbolting this connector now. We're taking a look inside. Okay, looks pretty crusty on the back. I don't like that. I'm gonna have to look up and see if there's a certain way that I can test these. The connector pins themselves look very clean. I guess I could check for power and ground and make sure that it's actually being fed power, signal, all that stuff. Yeah. All right, so we went through a couple things. I'm just going to explain it real quick here. I pulled up the scan tool and graphed my cam and crank signals because I was like, well, are we getting that? And I wasn't getting cam or crank. So I was like, okay, well, we look at the wiring diagrams and all that stuff and do some reading up. And our camshaft and crankshaft position sensors go directly into our ignition control module, which is what I showed you taking off right here. Now, basically what happens here is the camshaft and crankshaft position sensors are both Hall effect type sensors. So they're located down here. The one that's right at the crankshaft pulley down there is a 4-wire sensor. That's your crankshaft sensor. And the other one, the camshaft, is back here by your power steering pump. Now, what happens is this module gets powered up with 12 volts and it sends a 12 volt reference. Basically, it's just sending 12 volts to the sensor. Every time a cutout on the back of the crankshaft pulley goes past the sensor, it then basically blips, makes a signal, and that's how it knows how many revolutions it's making. So we basically found that we had no crankshaft or camshaft. I double verified with the oscilloscope, and sure as heck we weren't getting anything. So I thought, okay, well, are we getting a 12 volt reference to the sensors? No, we weren't. All right, well, let's go check to see if this thing's getting power then. And no, we weren't. So we have a blown fuse. We checked the fuse, 15, that one right there, right beside the 10. And now why is it blown? I'm not sure. That's a great question. Is this thing bad? Perhaps. It could be. It's funny, my cameraman said, why didn't we check the fuses in the beginning? Which is a good point. Quick test just to go through and check the fuses. So we could have done that. So we can see we've got 11.19 on one side, and we got diddly squat on the other side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to replace that fuse, and I'm going to plug this thing in, and we're going to see if the fuse blows. I found out that I was kind of misled a little bit. I was using this style of back probe that's got like a 45 on it or a 90, and it's just not deep enough to go down and hit the connector, the pin. So I had to use one, like a straight one, and fish it around to get all the way down, which is a real pain. It's a little bit misleading. Yeah. And anyway, I just checked the crankshaft signals 1 and 2. That was all good. We're gonna switch over to our camshaft now, which was our suspected issue. And we'll fire that one up. We do now have power going to this module, and we also have our 12 volt reference signal. So go ahead and crank it, and we'll see what we got. Our battery voltage is getting pretty low. Maybe. All right, so I have camshaft as well.
Getting signal from the cam.
Yeah. So, in theory, I should be able to put my ignition coils back on and this thing should fire up. But the question is, why did that 15 amp fuse blow? Is there a wire that rubbed through somewhere? Won't know. So, I'm gonna put this thing back together and it's probably gonna start. And I might have to take a closer look at the wiring harness. I really don't know. That sucks. All right, the moment we've all been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen, is now going to start. Did it blow the fuse? Still got to fix that cone leak. That sucks.
Yep.
All right.
Why wouldn't it start just now? Because you flooded it?
Yeah, so from cranking it so many times, I mean, it's just been spraying fuel in the cylinder, which is not good. It washes down cylinder wall. But all I had to do was just hold my foot on the gas pedal, which puts it in clear flood mode and does not spray fuel through the injectors. Just allows it to pump some of that extra fuel out, and then I just pump the gas pedal a bunch of times and bam, fires up. So now some of this wiring, I'm still curious why the fuse blew, but I see some of this wiring, it's very tight up against a bunch of places, and GM is very notorious for this wiring loom shielding. It just crumbles apart. So I don't know if you showed them, but like down in there, the wiring harness is super tight wrapped around that motor mount. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a wire that's rubbed through somewhere and it's just shorted out and just blew the fuse. Now, like I say, the customer stated that the vehicle was running. They pulled in and out of a convenience store, left it running, went inside, came out, it was dead. So just a coincidence that when it was parked, it at that moment rubbed through and blew the fuse. That's my guess. So I think what I'm gonna do now is reassurance to finally get an answer to the exact cause of the problem. I'm gonna go for a hunt and take a look at this wiring harness and see if I can find anything. And if not, I don't know what else to say. All right, if you got any questions, throw them down in the comments below. You got any stories, let me know. I want to hear them. Like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content, and we'll see you in the next one. All right, so we're trying some things here. Are we just continuing on?
Yep.
Okay, so what happened was last night we got the car running, and it ran great, and we found that blown fuse. And then we also had the coolant leak, right? So I went ahead, fixed that this morning, and took that piece off. We made a video on that, changed the coolant stuff, put everything back together, started the car. It started, but it ran like shit, and it was misfiring randomly on all cylinders. And it was really strange. So did some testing. The fuse wasn't blown this time. But then all of a sudden, when we had the car running for a minute, it just died. And now we're back to square one with the crank no start. So there's a good chance that this ignition control module, which is the board that the coils plug onto, is bad. I checked power and ground, load tested circuits, they're all good. We have cam and crank signals now, they're good. And I have no output to the coils. So these two terminals that stick out, it's pretty basic. They feed this coil pack, and all it does is when the car wants to make the spark plug go spark, it turns the circuit on, which creates a magnetic field and a coil of wire inside of here. And when it's ready for the spark, it shuts that circuit off. And when the electricity stops, what happens is the magnetic field that was built up from the circuit being on then collapses, and it induces a voltage into an inner coil, and it amplifies that voltage. So it turns 12 volts into like 30,000 or 40,000 or whatever the spec is for this car. But we're not getting that control voltage that we should be getting out of here. The 12 volts that we should be getting out of there, we're not getting. We're not getting nothing out of any of them. And then all of a sudden, it's like 3.9. It's just really like all over the board. So I'm gonna say that thing's probably junk. This is the back side of it. So it's possible that board has become porous and the circuit board that's inside is compromised. It sucks. This is one of these things with a lot of electronics is like you can't take the board apart because they like epoxy it together or glue it together. So you're kind of screwed as far as inspection goes. You have to like cut the thing apart, and it's just no fun. So as far as my tests conclude, there's not much else I can really check. And I'm somewhat confident on it being this board. I know they're problematic. A lot of people change them, and I checked on ProDemand. I'll get you some stats on the numbers of how many get changed, but it's quite a lot of them. So for the price, you can buy one on eBay for like $100, and I think that's what we're gonna do. So, all right. So we started running around in circles with this thing, and come take a look in the back. You can go around that way. So, this battery terminal, negative. These terminals are absolutely ridiculous. I don't even know why GM would design such a thing, but this nut, when you tighten it down, it presses down on like a piece of cast, and it's supposed to, like, I don't know if it like slides or presses down or something. It's some dumbass design, but it was pretty rusty on the inside. The battery died earlier today, just from like testing and doing whatever. So I charged it up, and we had like 12.8 volts. Everything was cool, and the starter was just clicking, and I was like, oh, we got a shitty battery connection. So cleaned it all up, whatever. Started it, runs now. Kind of ran, not perfect, but yeah, I'm gonna change out this battery terminal, this negative. So we'll get this piece of shit off of here, and I'll put a lug on the end of here, and we'll get that secured, because that's an absolute shame. And then we're just gonna run it and make sure everything's good. We'll do some testing if we need to do some testing, but I gotta change that because that thing's a piece of shit. All right, so update on this thing. I replaced this ignition control module today on the dirty old Buick, and that fixed the issue. So it was this thing the whole time. Now it must have shorted out internally somehow and caused the fuse to blow. And then while it was like running like crap and stalling, I believe that harsh vibration probably caused the fracture in the brittle plastic, which resulted in a cooling leak. So we changed this out, and I also put a new ignition coil on it as well, because this one is cracked, and it's a possibility that maybe this had something to do with this going bad. I don't know, but it kind of sucks. I really didn't have any way to confirm that this thing, like what caused the fuse to blow, but I mean, sort of common sense. So anyhow, that's what it was. Got any questions, throw them in the comment section below, and I'd love to hear your stories. Like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content, and we'll catch you in the next one.